Well, hello, this is Rosa, RCG Creations. How you doing? We're making today white chicken chili in a stock pot. I'm getting it all ready now. Hubby's going to get it put on the stove when he gets home from work. And 30 minutes later, we're going to be ready to eat. And the reason we're going to be ready to eat is we're starting with processed chicken and white great northern beans. Now, to keep, this is called creamy. Whoops, my alarm. I'm getting ready to go to work. Okay. Gonna get it all ready. I did two different recipes. One's got the creamy crock pot white chicken chili, but it also gives you the directions on making stovetop directions and Instapot. Let me know in the comments if you want those recipes, and I'll be happy to post it and send them to you, okay? Then there's another one that's got the white chicken chili to pressure can it. But after looking at it and all that, with the texture, because hubby and I are so picky with texture when it comes to pressure canning meat and different things. We love pressure can chicken, but we don't like pressure can ground beef. So, and we haven't tried any of the other ones yet. So let's just go ahead and get started. And what I like to tell everybody is, you know what? Make a very, very small batch. Try it. And then taste it and see if you like it. If you like it, great. Make it again. If you don't, then don't worry about it. So let's get started. Okay, of course it's going to ask for the, because this was made in its own juices. And it does ask for, I saw that, 24 ounces of chicken broth. I'm using the same broth that it was made in, because that's nothing but chicken broth, because this is nothing but chicken and nothing else. Now, listen to this. Did you hear that? Great see you. That's what you want. One more time. Oh, I need to open it up all the way. Alrighty. Trying to get my recipes I got to put on my jars. I make these make-ahead cake mixes, and I finally printed the recipe so I can tape them on the outside of the jar, so the recipe is always with the jar. Okay, so let's get our chicken out. Okay, I'm probably going to have to that's why I brought a towel, because I'm probably going to have to help it come out. And this kind of smells like a can of tuna when you open up a can of tuna, but it's chicken. Now, I did do this in big chunks, and that's what the good thing about chicken is, you can cut it in big chunks, or you can do it in small chunks. I like to do big chunks, and I'm going to show you one. See that big old chunk right there? Because depending on what your recipe calls for, you may want big pieces of chicken, or you may want some diced pieces of chicken. Okay. Even though this is a wide mouth, look at that. See how big that is? And I'm staying over here, getting close to the camera, because I don't want to drip these juices in here. Oh, there's another big chunk. If it can go in, it can go out. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on my time frame. I had to now is where I'm going to crumble this up a little bit, because you want pieces of chicken. You don't necessarily want shredded chicken. You just want pieces of chicken. And it's only going to take 30 minutes on the stovetop, because all we're doing basically is heating it up and letting the spices marinate with all the goodiness. Okay. And I do want some bigger chunks. And this is going to go into the washing machine when I'm done. So, and this was made with pre-cooked. This is, when you do a pressure canning, you're cooking the food. Okay, so now let's get our beans. Let's go ahead and just go to the recipe on the order of the stovetop method. It says cut the chicken into pieces. Add the tablespoon of butter, tablespoon of olive to a large Dutch oven, a soup pan, heat over medium heat, and I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to let it all just cook for itself, because it's going to marinate in the refrigerator for about, hubby won't get home till like 3, so it's going to be there at least 6 hours. Okay, so basically all I'm doing is putting everything in there. That's all I'm going to do. So let's get our can, and I'm not rinsing off the beans because we want all that bean flavor because we want it to be liquidy. Because remember, we're making chili, but we don't want it to be overly liquidy. Okay, I want to get every single bean. Let's get the other jar. Did you hear that? And you notice how this jar doesn't have as much water? This jar siphoned more than the other one. And it happens. Doesn't matter what you did. It's nothing that you did or didn't do. That's just the way it goes. Okay, so that one's all done. Now let's go for our seasonings. We're not going to use the diced green chilies because hubby don't really care for those. I do, but he does not, so we're skipping that part. And I will put, of course, the whole entire recipe in the description box. I'm not going to do the corn. I just don't. I've had this many times. I don't like the corn in this. So I'm skipping it. But you can add it if you want to. All right, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, let's get our teaspoon. That's half. That's 1 teaspoon. And I will be stirring this just before I put it in the refrigerator. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I just had my 1/2 teaspoon black pepper. Okay, 1 teaspoon of cumin, cayenne, chili, cilantro, cumin, and it asks for 1 teaspoon of cumin, so 1 teaspoon. And then 3/4 teaspoon. I think that's just 1/4 done 3 times of oregano. All I have is oregano leaves, so I gotta get me some oregano powder, but I don't have any. So for now, we're just gonna use the leaves, which just works just fine. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, it smells so good in here. I wish you could smell it. Okay. Next, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. Chili powder. I'm actually going to do 2 because hubby and I like it a little spicy. Two. Man, those odors are, it's not an odor, excuse me, the smell is fantastic. Okay, next is 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I'm only going to do 1/4 of this because this stuff is kind of potent. Okay, 1/4. And I've got to go grab my spoon to stir it all. Okay, now let's see, in a small handful of cilantro. I don't have fresh cilantro. We're going to be doing the dry, which is what I process myself. All I do is get fresh cilantro, put it in my dehydrator trays, and dehydrate it. That's all I'm doing. And whenever you do fresh herbs and you dehydrate them, and then you crush it between your fingers, it brings out the oils from your hands onto the herbs. Oh man, I can just smell that. It smells like really fresh cilantro. I spilled a couple of them, but I'm going to clean table so I can do this. So I'm good to go. I'm going to add a little bit more cilantro. Just because I can. Crush that baby. There we go. Oh yeah. You can just smell, You're opening that up, that flavor up. Now, since I have a little twig right here, I'm good to go. But once it gets marinated all day long and heats up with the juices in there, it'll just dissolve right on in there. You don't even know there's a little twig. Now, I got this bee pollen. The spices got me. Sorry about that. Excuse me. I had a little dribble right there. I use this to boost my immune system, but you put it inside cooked or like yogurt or anything like that. It's totally up to you. Normally I do 1 tablespoon. I don't want to get another spoon dirty. So I'm just going to do 2 of these, which is a teaspoon. And this helps boost your immune system. And since you're mixing it up in the food, you can do it on pretty much anything. I'm going to do 4 of these. Because right now, it's fall. So guess what? Flu season, cold season. I'm trying to boost my immune system as much as possible so I don't get sick. Okay, so that is everything. These are my dirty dishes. I didn't even use that. I was a good girl. Oh, let me grab my spoon. I'm going to use my spoon with the metal handle because it's a lot more sturdier. And I love this little Teflon spoon. I've had that well over 15 years, but I love it. So, let me bring you, whoops. See, this is what it all looks like. Oh, all those spices are getting to me. Now, all I'm going to do is mix it up. Because I want it to marinate all the flavors all over everything. Oh man, this looks and smells so good. Now, you know what? In less than 10 minutes, put it on the pot. Let it slow simmer for 30 full minutes. And you want to do 30 minutes to an hour. I like to do 30 if I'm really in a hurry. I'll do an hour if I have plenty of time to do it. I'm going to put a little note and ask hubby to do it in an hour on a very, very low simmer. And about every 15-20 minutes, come in there and stir it. Because you want all those flavors to marinate with each other. And I'm going to bring you up in just a second so you can see that. Because when it's with a closed lid on the pot the entire time, it's going to marinate and it's going to bring out some more juices from all the beans and the chicken. So, and I like my chili a little wet, but not sopping wet. So I personally think this is perfect size. And look at that. See that? And I'm gonna bring you up. Just because I can. Look at that. See how it's just got just enough juices? Okay. So now I'm going to close the lid, put it in the fridge, and when we come back, we'll come back and do the taste test. Alrighty, we're back. Hubby put this on on the stove, not crock pot, on the stove. So it brought it to a rapid, take it out of the refrigerator. Well, that's because I did it. If you're doing it straight through, you don't mess with this part. But what I did, because I made it this morning, and we're both at work, so when he got home, he took the lid off, let it sit for about 15-20 minutes. Let's start over. Take it out of the fridge, put it on the stove for about 15-20 minutes, then took the lid off, turned it on medium-high heat, let it come to a rapid boil. Then as soon as it came to a rapid boil, turned it down to a low simmer, and you can see it's bubbling, and left the lid on it. Now he did taste it. It's got a little bit of kick. Remember I told you that cayenne pepper, that chili powder and cayenne that I put just a little bit extra? It was just enough. He said he probably could go a little bit spicier, but not me. So let me bring you to what we have. See that? See how it's all bubbling? Ooh, yum, 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 yum. Let's go. Whoops, sorry, let me put the camera down. Let's do the taste test. Let me do a quick little stir. And you see how it was just dissolved? And you manually shred the chicken with 2 forks, but because this is made with pressure can chicken, we didn't have to do that. Just by stirring it was enough to break it apart because it was already pre-cooked. Okay, so turning off the burner. Let's pour my bowl. And we'll do the taste test. Got plenty of juices. I did not add anything extra. And like I said, I personally don't like this overly wet, but then I don't like it dry either. That's why I've used the same broth that was in the jars of chicken and the broth that was in the beans. Okay. Look at that. Yum, yum. Let's do the taste test. Let's move you over just a tad. Get a big chunk of chicken. Let me have my pressure can beans that I did myself. And you helped me do this. I know it's hot. It's fall. Perfect time to start making chili. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, I forget I gotta do enough for something for my thumbnail. There we go. White chicken chili. Bye-bye.